I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, who hasn't thought about talking to the animals? I know I have my whole life, ever since I was a little kid and I heard Rex Harrison sing as Dr. Dolittle. If I could talk to the animals, I wanted to communicate with animals. Well, it's not just a fantasy, it's not just kid stuff, it is a real life thing, something that you can do right now. My next guest, Maureen Rolls, is an expert on the subject. She has written a wonderful book. It is called Welcome to My World of Animal Communication and Healing, and it highlights her thousands of communications and healing processes that she's done with animals over the course of her lifetime. And we'd like to thank the folks at Sweet Spire Literature Management for helping us put Maureen in the spotlight today. Maureen, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me, Logan. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. I love your book. And tell me a little bit about how you got started talking to the animals.
Well, I've always spoken to animals, even as a child. And it's something I did, thinking everyone could do it. And soon learned when I talked about it to other children that I started to be called that weird girl. So I soon learned to shut up about it. But I've been able to communicate with them all my life. So it's fantastic, an absolute honor.
When somebody's calling you weird, generally you're doing the right thing.
Yes, I know. I've learned that now. And when people are skeptic,
exactly.
I actually say I love skeptics because
exactly.
normally
Exactly. Challenge me, I'll prove my point. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So you started talking to the animals at a young age. Were you like most people? Did you have a cat or a dog or something like that you used to chat with?
Yes, we had a cat. We didn't have a dog. My father was not keen on dogs, but we did have a cat and it was wonderful. And other animals, when I was out in the street or walking around, would talk to me as well, which is wonderful. It just kind of accelerated from there.
Tell me a little bit about your communication. So a lot of people will talk to a dog, for example, or a horse and say, good boy, good girl, sit, come. But your communications are a little more extensive. You're able to reach them on a different level. Tell me about that.
Yes, I talk to them telepathically. And to be honest, Logan, all of us can do this. We are born with our brains wide open. And how we use it from there on is entirely up to us and the environment we live in. I've been able to communicate with animals telepathically. Now, humans tend to think about what they want to say to bring it out of their mouth. Animals don't do that. Animals communicate with behavior and also telepathically. So this is where they've got the advantage on humans because they're thinking much quicker. And they can hear your thoughts. They know exactly what you're thinking. And this is why animals, you have a dog or somebody and it's anticipating, it goes to the door because it knows that you're going to take it for a walk. It's actually heard that thought telepathically. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I'm in the car with my dogs, they seem to know when I'm reaching my destination, whether it's home or elsewhere. And like you said, I have to just think about walking them and they're jumping up.
Yes.
So they really are terrific communicators. And it's interesting, one thing you said, that they communicate with their behavior. We have 2 Jack Russell Terriers, which are highly intelligent dogs.
Yes.
One dog cries and whines and whimpers a lot, even though he's treated like gold. And my wife saw him as the more intelligent dog, even though to me he was more annoying. She's like, oh no, he's just trying to talk to us. And she's able to actually decipher what he wants, what he needs, why he's crying. And it's actually made me a better dog parent as well, because I've picked up on those communication patterns as well. So you're really on target when you talk about the behavior of animals.
That's right. And your wife is very intuitive. To be able to do that is fantastic because she's right. The animals also are on different levels and different in sort of spiritual level I'm talking about rather than intelligent. And it sounds like this dog that you've got is highly evolved and is able to get its thoughts and its behavior over to your wife. And fortunately, her brain is open enough to receive and understand. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
It is interesting, not to belabor my dog point too much, but also this dog is different than the other dog. The other dog like devours his food, runs like, he acts like a dog. This dog is much more domesticated. He eats very carefully. When he's going out, he's a little bit afraid of this and a little bit afraid of that. So you're right on target that he's more developed. And do you think dogs are at the higher end of this communication pattern? Or what's your experience? What are the most intelligent or communicative animals in your experience?
Right. The most intelligent are horses, also elephants, dolphins. So those are the three that I consider to be on the higher level. Having said that, dogs are extremely intelligent. And again, as I say, it's a bit like a ladder with the evolving of humans and with animals. And when you've got a highly evolved dog, that dog has had past lives and has learned many things. So when it's come back to this life to be with you, then it is able to access all its previous experience. So fantastic. I really feel that you've got a strong connection, and your wife has, with this dog. It's a soul connection.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we do. We strong connection with both of them, where there are little fur babies, like a lot of people call their dogs nowadays. It seems like people are being a little bit more aware of animals these days and their feelings and their thoughts, and the fact that just because they don't communicate like we do doesn't mean they don't have thoughts, and doesn't mean they communicate with each other and possibly with you.
That's right. I have been doing animal communication and animal rescuing, be it wildlife or the moorland ponies that we've got. I live on Dartmoor, and there are feral ponies on the moor. So I have been helping animals, feral, wild, whatever, domesticated, all my life. And it's their way of coming through to us and saying, look, I'm here. They can help you. They can pick up on ailments. So if you're not well, if they know if you're grieving or you're going through something, they're there. They're there for you. And that's what that strong connection is that you've got with your animals. Wonderful. Absolutely. Wonderful.
Bill Murray has a great quote. He says, he doesn't trust a person who doesn't like a dog, but he trusts a dog when he doesn't like a person.
My words, exactly. I always say I don't trust people that don't like animals. And my saying for many years were, if it hasn't got 4 legs and a tail, I don't want to know. I didn't want to know humans. Exactly. But I work with the archangels, Logan, and they challenged me and gave me something to think about to make me trust humans, because I had seen the bad side of humans, all the abuse they do to animals with the rescuing that I'd done. The really bad side of humans was not good. So I'd only seen one side. And thank goodness there's wonderful people like you out there.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's right back to you as well. Thank goodness there's people like you out there caring for animals and caring for people as well. Tell me a little bit about your communication with God, the archangels, and the spiritual element of your life.
Yes, for a long, long time, I knew I was getting help. I could sense everything around me. I could pick up on it, but I didn't know who or what was helping me. And that went on for a very, very long time, until one day I had Archangel Gabriel appear before me. And at that stage, I'd been running a rescue charity, rescuing moorland ponies, Dartmoor and Bodmin Moor, which is Bodmin's in Cornwall. And they told me I needed to delegate my charity work, because I'd been doing it for nearly 40 years. And he wanted me to teach people how to communicate with animals. So I needed to do workshops and train people on how to reopen their brain, to meditate. So I've been getting help. I've been asking. All I ever used to do was say, please help me with whatever situation was going on. Or can you give me the strength to help this animal and stand up to these people? Because I really did put myself in the line many, many times on behalf of abused animals. And I would get that help. So it is a case of really, if we have free will as humans, and angels cannot impose their will on you. They kind of what I call whisper, where you get that feeling you shouldn't be doing something, or yes, you should. They're whispering in your ears constantly. Unfortunately, I was able to listen to this and follow through. But what I didn't understand is to say for a very long time, it was actually the archangels that was working with me. So, and I've had them appear many times when I've needed to do work, and they have come forward and helped me with situations that's been very dangerous to me as a human, trying to help that animal that is being abused. So they've been with me and they've shown themselves and helped me. Fantastic, wonderful feeling.
I'm sure it's very inspiring, very inspiring to hear for sure. Tell me a little bit about your work with these feral horses. That sounds like it's quite challenging, and it's must be wonderful living in such a beautiful place that there's wild horses.
Yes, it is. And I actually sort of moved out onto the moor as sort of about 40 odd, 50 odd years ago, not realizing there was so much problems with the feral ponies. I'm saying feral, they're all owned by farmers who have grazing rights on the moor. But they were getting the poor side of the care. We have farmers that were very good and very caring. We have others that were not so good and not so attentive to their animals. If it involved money, they didn't want to know. I soon learned that there were animals being hit by a car. If you had a mare hit by a car, and she had a foal at foot, it was not unusual for them to come out and shoot the mare and shoot the foal as well, because they didn't have the time to put into the foal. So I then stepped in, took the foal on, and before I knew it, I had quite a rescue herd going on. And I started a charity, me and my husband, paying for everything for a very long time. I'm walking out onto the moor when a walker or the police would ring me and say there's a mare in trouble or a pony in trouble. We would just get ready and hike over the moor and find the pony and stay with it until it got the satisfactory end, or it had got the help it needed. One way or another, whether it was the farmer coming out to take the mare in, or whether he said, you have it, and we would take it then to my charity that I started. So yes, it went on that. And also we were helping wildlife, badgers, foxes, so many different animals. And the angels again would guide them to me. On one occasion, I had a mare turn up outside my house. I actually was on the way to a show to raise money for my charity. And my husband rang me and said, we've got a mare outside. She's just dropped down dead, and she's left her newborn foal and her yearling here. So I turned around and went back. Now, she was guided right to my bungalow. Out of all the Dartmoor, 364 square miles, she came to my bungalow and dropped down dead because she knew that's her foals would be cared for.
Wonderful.
That's the guidance that animals get from above, and it's wonderful, really.
It is wonderful. Are you still working with this charity that you founded?
No, I retired 2 years ago. I'm now 76, and it was all getting a bit too much. And
I don't believe that you're 76, but you look great. You've got tons of energy, tons of spirit. So working for the animal, with the animals, obviously keeps you young as well.
Yes, it does. It does. And I have had the honor of being able to help so many. But now there was another charity of friends of mine who started up. And they were much larger than I was financially and in so many ways. So I just asked them if they would have my ponies. And in the end, there was nearly 400 ponies that we brought in. So that's
Wow.
without the ones that we helped that did not come in. And so they took on all my ponies, and I signed over everything, lock, stock, and barrel, all the stables, the fields, and everything, the vehicles. So they ran it, and I became a trustee
Wonderful.
for their charity. So yes, the charity was called Maureen Rolls. So friends of mine, they took the whole lot over. But I
Amazing.
did need to retire because the archangels again had told me I needed to train people up to do animal communication. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Tell me let's talk about that a little bit. How do you train people to connect with animals on the same level that you do, or at least part of the way? Not everybody will get to the same level that you're at. Fewer people are in tune with their spirituality, I think. But how can somebody improve their communication skills with animals?
Right. Well, I take them through a process. It's important. I take them back to what I call basics. So I do meditations, and we start with grounding them. I take them through what I call the cloak of negativity, which is getting rid of all the rubbish that humans hang on to and surrounding them in light. I then also get them to open, cleanse, and close all their chakras. Chakras are energy centers within the energy field of our body. You can't see them, but they do exist. And this is where it helps me, because I'm able to do healing on humans and animals, because I'm dealing with energy, the energy body. Vets and doctors deal with the physical body. So I get their bodies prepared to be able to deal with the energy. I then so basically, I'm educating their brain back to open up. What we were born with, we were all born with our brains wide open, and God meant and intended for us to use it. We weren't so much meant to be talking as we do now. Many, many moons ago, people were talking telepathically to each other. And that's how we were meant to do with animals as well. So I'm kind of taking them back to what we were meant to do and opening that brain to be used as our Lord intended. And then once we've got that, they have opened up that part of their brain. From there on, some make an instant connection and is wonderful and doing exceptionally well. And that can be people that's not done this before. In fact, at my last workshop, I had a young man who has connected so quick. He'd never done any of this before. And he is doing fantastic, finding lost animals. So it's about re-educating us to use that part of our brain. And once I show them how to do it and talk them through it, we usually start by letting them talk to animals via photographs. And these are photographs of animals that they do not know. I swap photographs with people that are there. And in the afternoon, they're communicating and healing, visiting animals. So I have 2 animals come, dogs, cats, whatever's brought, and they're communicating. So they experience how to communicate via photograph, how to communicate to one personally. So yes, and then after that, it's about ensuring they continue to use that part of their brain, continue to communicate. The more you use it, the better you get, and more help you get from above.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting that you point out that we're born with the tools that we need. And I think that's part of the joy of watching children, is that children don't have the limitations and the disempowering beliefs that adults have. Children approach an animal with joy and with love and with kindness and tenderness, and their heart and their good feeling just emanates from them. So, and as
Yes,
we go through life, our parents, our schools, our teachers, our coaches kind of beat that all out of us.
they
And
do.
so
They
it's
do.
nice to get back to that point of being open-minded again, having a true heart, having a good heart, to look at an animal and to feel you can connect with that being.
Exactly. And I cover this in my book because it's sad, because when you have children who, and I've known friends' children who have, they'll say to me, oh, in the middle of the night, they're talking away. Well, you'll see babies gurgling and talking to not only spirit, but also angels that have come to visit. You will also get the child who has what they call an imaginary friend, which is
Mm.
actually spirit. This is all about using that part of that brain. But as soon as they go to school, they're mocked just as I was as a child. And they're told, don't be stupid, or it doesn't exist. If you can't see it, it doesn't. That's not true. It
Right.
does exist. And we are now stepping into the age where more and more people are open to this now. So talking about it as you and I are now,
Mm.
and letting people know, there'll be many, many people out there of your viewers who feel that they should be, actually feel as though they can now relax, because it's not as strange, it's not dreadful, it is not something to be frightened of. We have angels that are protecting us and helping us
Yeah.
through these stages. So wonderful that people are now opening up their minds, and we're going back, because school would make it a big no-no,
Yeah.
which then closes that part of the brain and just opens up the scientific side.
Exactly. Especially once
That.
when we were going to school,
Mhm.
the teachers were really, really tough. They almost acted like they didn't like children.
Yes,
And
exactly.
maybe after you're surrounded by, 30 children in a classroom for 8 hours a
Mm.
day, you don't like children. I don't know. But everything that was childlike was deemed
Mhm.
childish.
Yeah,
And
that's
being
right.
childlike is wonderful. If there's a way to capture that and to reconnect with that,
Mhm.
I think we're on the key not only to have a better life, but to have a better world.
It is. It's on the way, and we're getting closer and closer to it. So fantastic. It's nice to see this shift of energy that is now going from the skeptic side and the dark side to being enlightened and being able to talk to animals. And it
Absolutely.
will be normal. Goodness knows, not too far in the future, but it will be normal for everyone to be able to do what I'm doing. And, instead of having to re educate people to do it, you see, at the moment, any child and any animal 6 years and under have got these skills. They've got that higher energy in them. They've come to this planet all ready to go.
Mm.
So it's just this shift now, and it's not far off. Great. Can't wait for it. I think
Absolutely.
it's wonderful.
Me too. Tell me a little bit about the animals in your life. Do you have any pets at home? Tell me about what you have in your personal life now.
Right. Well, for many years, I had many, many horses and ponies, obviously.
Mhm.
A personal, apart from the charity, I had 7 animals of my own, horses, that is, and ponies. I had 3 dogs, and goodness knows how many cats and things. Currently, at the moment, because of my age and my ability not to be able to walk so far, I'm down to one lovely pretty cat, which is
Mm.
called Spooks. And she actually moved in from next door. We're not we're out in the middle of nowhere, but I got one neighbour.
Mhm.
And the adjoining property, Spooks just came in from there and said to me, I'm coming in to live with you. And I said, why? And she said, they're arguing, and I don't like the energy. And you see, it's the energy again. So she moved in literally.
Mm.
And sure enough, next door they parted. She was very right, very accurate, that cat. And of course, the lovely lady next door is remarried and very happy now, but Spook still lives with me.
That's
So
great.
she moved in from next door. So cats will leave. and do. And I've got that also in my book. Dogs are more, and horses, they're more captive, but cats are more free will, so they can go, and they do. They do.
Cats are quite amazing. And I've actually researched this a little bit. Which is smarter, a cat or a dog? Well, if you listen to the experts, they say dogs are smarter than cats because of brain mass and so forth, and the ability to follow commands. But I think the ability of a cat to live on his or her own, to cross a street, to live in the wild, to find food, and to recognize, you know, a person like you or a person like me, I think cats are quite amazing.
They are, and they do leave. And I had a friend who had a cat turn up, and she said to me, Maureen, can you find out where he's come from? So I spoke to him and he said, I'm not going back. He said, I belong here. This is where I was meant to be. So I told her, and she said, I can't keep him. He's not mine. And I said, well, he'll be back if you send him back home. Anyway, sure enough, she found his owners, sent him back home. Again, he turned up. She took him back again, and again he turned up. And he had been crossing an extremely busy road. And I said to her, look, you really ought to ask if they would mind you keeping him, because he is meant to be with you. Because he's crossing that main road, he'll get killed. He'll just keep coming back. He knew he should not be where he was. So, yeah, another person would think they've lost their cat, but it's actually their destined things that's going through, where they know better than us what they're supposed to be doing and where they're supposed to be.
The cats kind of have free wills in many ways, for sure.
They do.
Tell me a little bit about.
Certainly do.
They sure do. Tell me a little bit about writing your book. This must have been a labor of love.
It was. In fact, again, I need to tell you, the archangels nagged me about it, because for many years I've been so busy with the animal communication and the healing and the rescuing. And they kept telling me, I need to write a book. I need to do the book. And then about 2 years ago, they literally said, come on, you really need to do this now. And I said, yes, I will. So I actually set about and thought, I need to do this. They've been telling me to do it for several years. It's time to do it. So I did actually sit down and make myself do it.
Wonderful.
And going through it took me through a journey of my life, which has been quite emotional. It was fantastic, and made me realize the many, many things that I've done that I've just kind of taken for granted. And suddenly I thought, yeah, that was quite an achievement. You've helped this, you've helped with that, and you've healed certain things. Yeah, it began to make me realize just what I'd been starting to take for granted, which was so wrong, because this is really a gift from above, because I'm not actually doing a lot of it. The angels are. They're working through me. I'm just the tool. So, and I'm grateful to be the tool and allow them to work through me. So yes, it was fantastic to write it.
Well, we're glad you did write it. It's a wonderful book. It'll change your life. If you love animals, and I think most people do, if you're not an animal lover, I think you'll look at animals in a different way. The name of the book is Welcome to My World of Animal Communication and Healing. It is a wonderful look at a wonderful life, the life of Maureen Rolls, who has dedicated her life to the animal kingdom, communicating with animals, all different breeds, all different types, helping them heal and getting some healing for those animals herself. It is a wonderful book. It's highly recommended. You can buy it on Amazon. You can download it. And the links are beneath this interview. Maureen Rolls, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Logan, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. It's been a delightful conversation. It's been truly inspiring. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time, until next time on Spotlight.